5 years ago, if I had told you that one of the biggest games on Steam wouldn't come from Ubisoft, Rockstar, or Bethesda, but from a tiny Japanese studio making what looked like Pokémon with guns, you guys would have laughed at me and left comments saying house rank cannot be that high. Because honestly, nobody took this game concept seriously. People called it a Pokémon clone with guns, Nintendo purists called it lazy, while others tagged it as a meme. Nintendo fanboys believed Nintendo would have it erased from existence before it ever became successful, and believe me, they tried, and yet, within days of launching, Palworld sold millions of copies, became one of the most played games Steam has ever seen, and somehow managed to hook players for hundreds of hours. So, what happened? Why couldn't people stop playing this Temu Pokemon? What made a game that looked so ridiculous become one of gaming's biggest success stories? And perhaps the biggest question is, why hasn't anyone else managed to make a game that feels quite like this? When Pocketpair first showed Palworld, the internet instantly made up its mind. People didn't see a survival game, they saw Pokemon packing assault rifles, and that single image was what spread everywhere and became one of gaming's biggest jokes. The marketing almost worked against this game, but instead of talking about the core of the game, which was crafting, automation, and exploration, everybody was focused on one thing: the guns. And to be fair, Pocketpair leaned heavily into it because they knew exactly what would get people talking. But while everyone was laughing, they completely missed out what the developers were actually gunning for. Palworld wasn't trying to replace Pokemon or trying to become Ark. It wasn't copying Rust either. What it did was it quietly combined the ideas from all of them and somehow created something that felt surprisingly fresh. Launch day arrived and nothing much was expected until players and your average clip farmers started posting clips. Not clips of Ronaldo crying out of the World Cup, of course, but clips of ridiculous moments that happened inside Palworld. And as a result of this, casuals then realized that there was an actual game underneath the meme, a very good one at that. And within just a few days, Palworld became one of the biggest launches in Steam history, selling millions of copies and reaching historical concurrent play accounts, and quickly established itself as one of the platform's most successful early access launches ever. That didn't just happen because of curiosity alone. Yes, curiosity sells the first millions of copies, but quality is what keeps everyone invested, and Palworld had quality in places very few people expected. Now we all know how success brings a lot of attention. All of a sudden, your exes start reaching out and saying those repeated flings were due to their childishness. Now it wasn't long before Nintendo noticed the success of Palworld, and almost immediately debates exploded across social media on how the creature designs were way too similar to Pokemon. Nintendo then announced it was investigating potential intellectual property issues, and legal disputes followed over certain patent-related claims. Those developments created enormous headlines, with many people assuming they would end Palworld's momentum, but the lawsuit became bigger news than the game itself, further catapulting the game's fame, and people who had never played Palworld now knew its name. Discussions on YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok only brought more attention to the game. Ironically, the controversy became free advertising, and while legal battles continued in the background, Pocketpair kept updating the game. New pals, new islands, performance improvements, changes that balance the game, just quality of life updates. Instead of disappearing, Palworld kept evolving. Most survival games have mechanics, but Palworld took it further by introducing systems that constantly feed each other. You capture a pal, that pal helps you gather wood, the wood then lets you build better equipments, these equipments let you explore further, from exploration you find stronger pals, and those pals then automate your base. Automation now creates resources while you are adventuring, those resources help you unlock new technology, and that technology lets you reach even stronger bosses. Every action pushes another system forward. Nothing feels isolated, everything is interconnected. This intricate game design is what game devs call systematic synergy. The whole becomes far greater than the sum of its parts, and once players experience this loop, it is incredibly difficult to stop. Now this here might be Palworld's greatest strength. There is almost never a dull moment where players get bored or wonders what they would do next, as every discovery unlocks the next objective, new level unlocks new crafting recipes, and every biome introduces stronger enemies. The captured pals open up possibilities, so instead of forcing players down one path, Palworld constantly offers several. Build, explore, fight, or trade. There is always another goal waiting. Survival games always falls into the trap of eventually becoming chores. Need wood, go chop trees. Need stone, go mine some rocks. Rinse and repeat. But Palworld poses a different question. What if your creatures did all the heavy lifting for you? So instead of replacing the player, pals become your co-workers. Some specialize in planting, mining ore, and some generate electricity. The player slowly transforms from laborer to manager. Your base evolves into a living ecosystem where every pal has a purpose. Watching these creatures work together can oddly feel satisfying. It is like watching Wasio Ronaldo lose every World Cup campaign. Palworld didn't just craft a big soulless world, they layered it with hidden caves, floating islands, and deserts. Every biome introduces new creatures, materials, new bosses, and environment challenges. Exploration never feels like wasted time because you are always finding something useful. Which brings us to the combat. Combat blends several genres together: traditional survival weapons, creature abilities, dodging, movements, and boss mechanics. It is surprisingly dynamic. Sometimes you are commanding powerful pals and firing rockets, while sometimes you are desperately rolling away while your strongest companion saves you. And very few survival games manage to create encounters that feel this chaotic. This to me is the most overlooked part in Palworld. Palworld is a funny game not because it is trying to tell jokes, but because the entire game is satire. It exaggerates how games treat creatures. It pokes fun at grinding, factory optimization, and corporate obsession with productivity. You can genuinely feel conflicted about overworking your pals even as the game rewards efficiency. And that tension right there is intentional. It playfully mirrors how management systems in many games reduce its workers to statistics. It is absurd with a dark sense of humor and surprisingly self-aware. This style of humor gives Palworld an identity that many survival games lack. Many survival games tell you how to play. Palworld just gives you the keys to the kingdom and allows you to become whatever you want to be. Be it an explorer, a builder, collector, a boss hunter, or factory manager. There is no limit at all. The game rarely says no, and this freedom is what keeps the adventure feeling fresh every time. This is where the game brilliantly ties everything together. Palworld constantly rewards your time. 10 minutes usually means a new pal, new blueprints, new level, and upgrade. Very few sessions ends without meaningful progress, and a steady stream of accomplishments like this creates an incredibly satisfying feedback loop. Instead of feeling like you are grinding towards a distant reward, Palworld integrates a system that allows you to make constant visible progress. You see, Ark has incredible dinosaurs, Minecraft has unmatched creativity, Rust delivers unforgettable player-driven stories, Pokémon excels at creature collecting and turn-based battles, but Palworld doesn't surpass all of them in every individual category. What it does remarkably well is combine ideas from each of them into a cohesive experience. It borrows the satisfaction of creature collecting, the freedom of open-world survival, the depth of automation, thrill of combat, and then ties all of them together with systems that constantly reinforce one another. So instead of excelling in only one area, Palworld succeeds because every mechanic supports the next. But the most impressive thing about Palworld is that it accomplished all of this while still in early access. Pocketpair continues expanding the world, introducing new pals, new regions, fresh mechanics, and quality of life improvements. The game is constantly evolving rather than standing still, which gives players reasons to return, even after dozens or hundreds of hours. Palworld isn't perfect by no means. It launched with bugs, performance issues, and balancing problems, and it still has a lot of room to grow, but its foundation is incredibly strong. Palworld was supposed to be remembered as a joke. Instead, it became one of gaming's most defining success stories of this generation. It proved that a small studio could challenge expectations not by outspending the biggest publishers, but by building systems that players genuinely enjoyed interacting with. And perhaps that's the lesson the industry should pay the most attention to. Players didn't fall in love with Palworld because of the controversy, memes, or the gunplay. They stayed because Palworld respected the time of the players. Every new PAL unlocked another possibility, expeditions led to discoveries, and upgrades opened another path forward. This kind of design keeps players saying one more round, and in an industry crowded with games competing for your attention, this may be Palworld's greatest achievement of all. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think about Palworld in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this video too, if you have any thoughts, as I think constructive criticisms, and I'll be waiting for you guys in the comment section to respond to all of your comments. Please, if you enjoyed this video, kindly hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell icon so you can get notified when I upload videos like this. And until next time, peace and love.
Incredible.